A familiar picture. You come to the doctor, and he asks you about cholesterol, about whether you smoke, when you last had an examination. All the right, important questions. But there is one question that doctors for some reason never ask. And this question may turn out to be more important than all the others. Is there someone in your life who loves you and shows you this? Sounds too simple? Too sentimental? And what if I tell you that this question may be a question of life and death? Scientists conducted a study among men with heart diseases. And you know what was discovered? Those who answered yes to the question, "Does your wife show you her love?" had symptoms of the disease that were twice as weak. Twice. Do you understand what this means? It's as if one person's car constantly broke down, smoked, stalled at traffic lights, and another person had exactly the same car. But it worked smoothly, quietly, reliably. The only difference: the wife's love acts as high quality fuel for our organism. And the most surprising thing, the more risk factors a person had, the higher the cholesterol, pressure, stress, the stronger the protective action of the wife's love. As if the organism has a built-in shield that becomes stronger precisely when the attack is especially fierce. But the story has a reverse side. 8,500 healthy people were observed for 5 years. And those who agreed with the phrase, "My wife does not love me," developed ulcers 3 times more often. 3 times. Imagine this paradox. A person can smoke a pack a day, have pressure like a cosmonaut during takeoff, live in constant stress. But if he is loved, his organism will resist disease better than that of someone who leads a correct lifestyle, but feels unloved. This is like comparing a fortress with high walls and a reliable garrison, and a fortress with perfect cannons but without defenders. And what about women? 1,000 women with a diagnosis of breast cancer. Over 5 years, mortality was twice as high among those who said they received little heart warmth in life. Twice as high. It turns out that love deficiency works as invisible poison. It does not kill instantly, but slowly, day by day, undermines our vital forces. And love, this is like a healing source that restores what life destroys. How is this possible? How can love be medicine? Everything lies in our brain. More precisely, in its ancient part, the limbic system. Imagine our brain as a multi-story house. On the upper floors lives our mind. It thinks, analyzes, makes decisions. And in the basement, in the most ancient foundation, dwells our emotional brain, the limbic system. This basement dweller is much older than our mind. It came to us from distant mammalian ancestors, and it cannot read and write, does not understand logic. But it infallibly feels, whether we are loved or not. And it is precisely this that controls the most important functions: emotions, hormones, immune system, heart rhythm, even acidity in the stomach. This ancient guardian works like a sensitive radar. It constantly scans the surrounding space. Am I safe? Am I accepted? Am I loved? And depending on the answer, it launches completely different programs in our organism. When the limbic brain feels a deficiency of warmth in relationships, it turns on the battle readiness mode. Like a ship captain who received a signal about a storm, it prepares our organism for stress. Stress hormones flood the blood like fuel in a racing car engine. The heart is ready to break into a gallop at the slightest danger. Pressure jumps like an arrow of a manometer in an overheated boiler. The organism works to exhaustion, like a machine that is constantly kept at maximum revolutions. And what happens to such a machine? Correctly, it breaks down quickly. So our organism ultimately gets chronic diseases. And now imagine a completely different picture. Our limbic brain receives a signal. We are loved. We are cared for. We are safe. And then it turns on the prosperity mode. This is like a gardener who understood that winter has ended and it's time to prepare for spring. It harmonizes all our physiology. Stress hormones retreat, giving way to hormones of happiness and attachment. The immune system strengthens like an army that received reinforcement. The heart beats evenly and calmly. The organism tunes itself to the most important thing, to life, to growth, to prosperity. This is like the difference between a plant in the desert and a plant in a fertile garden. Genetically, this may be the same plant, but in the garden it blooms and bears fruit, and in the desert, it barely survives. But you understand, this is not only about a partner. Our emotional brain reacts to the quality of all our connections. Imagine a person as a tree. A partner is, possibly, the strongest root. But there are other roots. Children, parents, friends, colleagues. And the more healthy, living roots, the more stable the tree is to any storms. The most important thing is the feeling that with someone you can remove all masks, that you can be both weak, like a child who cries from fatigue, and strong, like a hero who defeats dragons, that you can both laugh to tears and cry without being embarrassed, that you are important to someone not for your achievements, but simply for the fact that you exist, and necessarily a warm physical contact. This can be a hug, stroking on the head, simply holding hands. Our skin is a huge organ that communicates with the limbic system in the language of touches. And when we feel a warm, caring touch, this is like a signal. Everything is good. You are home. You are safe. But here's the catch. Our world is arranged like a mirror. Remember the children's game with echo in the mountains? What you shout, that you will hear in response. So it is with love. Before receiving love, we need to send it into this world. And where to get this love? Many search for it outside. In people, in achievements, in purchases. But this is like searching for water in the desert when you have a backpack with a flask behind you. Love is inside us, inside each of us. This is our natural gift, like the ability to breathe or see. And we can love our neighbor only as we love ourselves. This is not egoism. This is a law of nature. You cannot pour water from an empty jug. You cannot warm another if you yourself are frozen. Therefore, everything begins with love for oneself. And here many stumble. We were taught from childhood that loving oneself is bad. It is egoistic. But this is like teaching a pilot that caring about the condition of the airplane is egoistic toward passengers. For those to whom this is not easy, I propose to spend a week with the motto, I live in pleasure. Why exactly a week? Because in 7 days our brain can form a new habit, like a path in the forest that is gradually trampled. You understand, our mind needs clear instructions. It is like a GPS navigator that cannot work without a specific address. And the soul needs freedom. It is like a bird that dies in a cage, even a golden one. How to combine these opposites? Very simply, give each what it needs. Each morning is like a clean sheet of paper. Take this sheet and write your intention for the day. I live in pleasure. I give myself joy. I deserve happiness. Choose what resonates specifically with you. This will be a compass for your mind. When you decide that it is time to take care of yourself, of your soul, you will complete the most difficult task. Difficult for the mind. Although we will leave some supports for the mind. So, this week every day from morning form your day. Write down intentions for the day. For example, I live in pleasure or similar. Which will suit you better? Further, your task is to give yourself a holiday during this day and all the following week. For those who have completely forgotten what the phrase give yourself a holiday means, I will remind with a quote from Vadim Zealand. Despite the fact that many of us look serious, solid, cool, and so on, we all essentially remain children. Remember this. Give yourself a ride on the carousel. which means engage in what you like most. Say to yourself, today we with my world are going for a walk. Buy your favorite treat and say, eat, eat, my dear, get better. Devote the whole day to yourself and your pleasures. Take care of yourself. Carefully put yourself to bed in the evening. And then, give yourself a holiday every day of this week. But what does give yourself a holiday mean? Many have forgotten this language because they lived too long in the mode of must, should, later. Give yourself a ride on the carousel of life. Engage in what you like most. This can be anything: dancing to favorite music, drawing, cooking a favorite dish, reading a book that you postponed for months. Say to yourself, today we with my world are going for a walk. Imagine that you are taking the most dear person in the world for a walk. Where would you take him? What would you show him? Do this for yourself. Buy your favorite treat. What you usually do not buy because it is expensive or harmful. And when you eat, say, like a caring grandmother, eat, eat, my dear, get better. Sounds silly? Perhaps. But your inner child will be delighted. Devote the whole day to yourself and your pleasures. Take a hot bath. Give yourself a foot massage. Put on the most beautiful clothes. Not for a special occasion, but just like that, because you deserve it. And in the evening, take care of yourself, like the most precious treasure. Carefully put yourself to bed. Maybe read something pleasant or listen to calming music. And say to yourself, sleep, my good one. Your world will take care of everything. In such a simple way, you will develop love for yourself, day by day, like a gardener who waters a sprout. And the amazing thing is, you will have more and more reasons to arrange a holiday for your soul. Because love for oneself is not a final point, but a source that never runs dry. Having loved yourself, you will automatically become a source of warmth for those around you. This happens by itself, like the sun that cannot not shine. You will be able to transmit love to relatives and close ones. And especially those who are sick need this. Illness is always cold, and love is warmth that warms not only the soul but also the body. Imagine a person who walked for a long time in the cold. His body contracted, muscles tensed, blood circulates poorly. And now imagine that he enters a warm house where he is met with love. What happens? The body relaxes. Blood begins to flow more freely. Breathing becomes deeper. The same thing happens with our organism when we feel love. And then, when you love your relatives and show this with actions, words, touches, you will see how the great law of the mirror works. You will see how the world returns your own love to you, tenfold, multiplied, warmed by the warmth of other hearts. And you too will begin to heal, not because you are achieving something, but because you are returning to your nature. First, your soul will heal, like the first spring flower that breaks through the snow. And the body, which is inseparably connected with the soul, will undoubtedly react with recovery. This is not magic. This is not fantasy. This is the work of that same ancient limbic brain that receives the signal. I am loved. Therefore I am safe. Therefore I can live and prosper. For love heals. Love is not simply an emotion. This is the most powerful medicine that nature created. Medicine without side effects, without contraindications, without expiration date. Medicine that becomes stronger when shared. If you have questions or wishes, definitely write in the comments. I will answer each one. And subscription will give you the opportunity to receive new information and become a participant in this amazing process of knowing yourself and the world. Love and be loved.